There we both are. I was a bit slow with, with doing the intro and the countdown there today. I don't think you've seen that intro before.
No, I've never seen it. It looks fantastic.
That's thanks to Gary in Outcasts Australia. We've got a little chapter of creatives over there who all chip in with different things, and he's always helping me with editing and titles and logos and all of that kind of stuff.
Cool.
And Chew the Fat is the thing that covers anything else that we don't have a specific intro for, whether we're going to talk about games or talk about cuddly toys or talk about my recent accidental Lego purchase, which is behind me.
Accidental.
No, I went into town to buy a coat because my coat went missing when we did the show. It's actually my favorite coat, which is, I don't know where it's gone, but anyway, went into town to buy a coat and I ended up purchasing this.
Oh wow, that looks fantastic.
This is a reboot of an earlier Lego Space Cruiser that came out in the 80s, and it was like the set that everybody wanted, and I actually didn't own it until I was a bit older when a friend of mine sold me his, but I had to have that new iconic version. Anyway, your adventure begins here. We're talking about the Lone Wolf Adventure series today. In fact, we're going to play it.
Yes.
And although my guest, Rrrr from the wonderful world of Positive Fandom, has not played the Lone Wolf series before, and I have the updated Sponduli hardback reprint new edition version. It's all part of the kind of rebirthing of the series under the guidance of the one August Han and Joe Deaver's son, Ben Deaver. Joe Deaver was an avid D&D player, but he decided he wanted to create his own world.
Okay.
And he created the world of Magamund, it's called, which is where all the adventures are set. And in fact, I'm going to show you the map of this world, which comes with every book, but you can actually see the whole thing online. Because the map expands. Every time you get a new book, you get to see a bit more of the map. And where we're going to be playing today is predominantly set in this area here. And each one of these icons, you can click on it and it will tell you more about that particular part of the country. So the Kai Monastery is where our adventure is going to begin.
Right.
And the Kai Monastery... it's kind of like there's a lot of influence of Star Wars in the Lone Wolf series. You're kind of like you start the adventure as a Kai, bit like a sort of Jedi student, and that's where the Kai go. They go to the Kai Monastery to train to become these kind of, I guess, kind of peacekeepers. So it's very, very Star Wars influenced.
No, it sounds this is so exciting, Lance. Thank you for taking me along with this because I've been so excited to do something like this. And you said you've been wanting to do something like this, and we're finally doing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I plan to do the whole lot because behind me on the shelf, I've got the original prints of the first 10 books, and that was as far as I got. And then kind of life and girlfriends and more important things than dragons appeared and, waylaid me, jobs and all that sort of thing. But now it's one of my sort of things that I want to go back and I actually want to play the whole series and get to the end. And there are 32 books altogether. And the last 2, I don't think were ever published. They were just notes. And Joe Deaver, who conceived the series, passed away a few years ago. I actually did meet him. I actually played a game with him, a completely different game to this. I played a big war game at someone's house with him, and his son is making those last 2 books, so they will be available in the not too distant future. So the other thing that we have is we have our dice rolling app that I've got off the wonderful world of the internet, so we can also do all our die rolls so people can see that we're not cheating.
No, no.
But I mean, I do have some dice. I've got some. You only need a dice 10. I've got them here because what you normally do with the Lone Wolf books, you see, is they've got this number chart at the back, and you randomly you close your eyes and you do it with your pencil and you randomly pick
It's
the
the
number.
honor code.
Yeah,
The
and you've got
honor
to sort
code.
of try and be honest about it. I actually always used to just do it with dice because I was a D&D player before I had Lone Wolf, so it was pretty easy. I had some D10. I've got plenty of them here now, so if we want to do an actual die roll for something crucial, I'm sure we can. But the first thing we have to do is we have to create the character, and you get to pick a certain number of skills. Did you read about that at the beginning?
I did. There's quite a lot to choose from, Lance.
Yeah. I mean, I can make some recommendations.
Okay.
You know, I mean, hunting is an absolute must.
Right.
You should always have hunting because if you run out of food or you can't eat food and you've run out of food, you automatically lose 2 endurance points. And if you lose all your endurance points, you die. So I've got a blank chart here in the book. So I definitely would recommend picking hunting as one. Do you want to go with that?
Yes, that sounds perfect.
I also recommend picking healing as one.
Okay.
Because
hunting and healing.
Eating enables you to restore endurance. Healing enables you to restore endurance. These are 2 things that stop you from dying in the game.
No, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. So, okay, hunting and healing. The rest of them, it's kind of a mixed bag, and some of them will be more useful on later adventures than others. Now, you can pick a skill in a particular weapon that will give you a +2. So, for example, I decided to have +2 with spears. So then you've got these Kai disciplines: camouflage, hunting. We've already picked one. Sixth sense, tracking, healing, and then healing is limited to 10 per adventure. That's something that's worth. So basically, if you have healing as a skill, every time you turn to a section of the book where nothing happens, add 1 if you've been injured.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah. So if your endurance was previously 20 and you've gone down to 10 and you go through 10 sections with no combat, then you're back up to 20 again. But there is a little bit of bookkeeping involved here because it says, I missed this before, the maximum that you can be healed is 10 per adventure. So you've got 10 uses in one book of your healing ability.
Okay.
So upon entering the Kai monastery, in addition to doing prayers and shaving your head and monk type activities, you get taught to use one type of weapon. And the usual way is you pick a number from the random table, and that tells you what weapon that you get. So actually, I didn't pick spear; I got given spear. So I guess we're going to do our first die roll.
Okay.
And we also need to do our die roll for our combat skill and also our starting endurance points. We'll do that in a second. So
okay.
let's do the first one with the. I'll share screen and I'll get the little random dice roller here. There we go. This is available online, by the way, people. Okay. So we're going to select the D10. There we go. Going to make a throw. So our specialist weapon is 10, which is a broadsword.
Oh, wow.
So
that's
basically our character is Mel Gibson.
That's very lucky.
10 on the first. I don't know that is good because broadswords are not like massively readily available. But okay, so one of our Kai disciplines is that we have broadsword +2. So I'm going to write that in number 5. You see you've got the 5 things?
Yes.
And hunting and healing I've put as 1 and 2. Before we set off to do when you have chosen your 5 disciplines, enter them into the chart. So one of the disciplines you pick is a weapon, and the other 4 come from the list of the special ability things. So we've got 2 others to pick, and you can pick from. So the other things that Kais can do is they've kind of got like Jedi powers, putting it politely.
Okay. That's why they have is that why they have I'm just looking on here for the choices. Mind blast and mind field sound like special abilities, but you can't see them. They are
So mind shield is like a sort of an energy weapon block, or like if you get attacked by. Do you remember that thing in Dungeons and Dragons that used to have like a head like a kraken? What were they called? And they always attacked you with their mind. You can get creatures like that in Lone Wolf.
Yes.
So mind shield will protect you from those kind of creatures. Mind blast you can use to attack all kinds of creatures. Animal kinship, you know, you get to talk to little birds and sparrows and things, but sometimes that might be useful. Mind over matter means you can do that thing where I could just try and get the key under the door to free myself from the prison cell. I can see it, it's there. I just need to move it. That kind of thing. So what one of those do you want to pick? Should we have one of those 4 and then maybe one from the other section?
Let's try the mind over matter.
Mind over matter. Okay, so basically the ability to move objects. All right, so we're going to have mind over matter. And it tells you in the book when these things can be used. It will say, do you have mind over matter? Or I've never fixed that one. So
I kind of like mind over matter because of the idea that you might be hiding, or, you know, something's out of reach and you can grab it. That, you know, I think that's kind of cool to.
So of the others, you've got camouflage, 6th sense, tracking. 6th sense is definitely comes up quite a bit. Mind shield, mind blast, and animal kinship. Again, I'm going to let you pick. So which one?
Well, how many do I have to choose from that's left? How many?
Well, there's only one more that we can pick, because we've got hunting, we've got healing, we've got mind over matter, and we've got a +2 with a weapon, which is our broadsword. So that's 4 of our 5 skills. So you can pick one from either camouflage, 6th sense, tracking, healing, mind blast, mind shield, or animal kinship. I don't think animal kinship comes up much in the first book from what I can remember.
Let's try the tracking.
This skill enables a Kai to make the correct choice of path in the wild, to discover the location of a person or object in a town or city, and to read secrets, footprints, or tracks. Yeah?
Yes.
Go with that?
Yes.
Okay, tracking. All right. I think I probably would have picked 6th sense, but when we get to that crucial bit where we die and it says, do you have 6th sense? No, you're dead. We'll know. I'll remember to bring this up. Okay, right. So then I think what you do is to get your combat skill, you roll a d10 and you add a number to it. So let's just have a look. The first number you pick, add 10. Right, so we're going to roll a d10 again and add 10. So if we have a combat skill of 20, that would obviously be very nice.
Yeah, that would be
nice. Try and roll the dice on the actual YouTube video. That's not going to work, is it? Right, okay, so here we go. So we can clear that. Right, so we're going to pick a d10. We're going to throw again. 8. Okay, that's good.
Not bad at all.
We've got a combat skill of 18.
Yeah, that's great.
And then the second number you pick from the random is your endurance. So what we do is we roll a number and we add 20 to this. So you do start off with quite a lot of endurance. You're not allowed to exceed it. So we're going to clear that. And we're going to throw again. Here we go. So plus 20. Okay, 22. So our endurance is on the low side. But there are things that you can get that enable it to go up as things go on. But our sort of top level, unless we get some kind of enhancements, is 22 at the minute. Okay. Okay, so we've done that. I think we might start off with some stuff in our backpack. Let me just check. So we've got our +2 weapon. Equipment. Your basic possessions comprise of a green tunic, which is the cloak of the Kai, as we can see on the cover of the book. There he is, very fashionable, very Lord of the Rings. borrowed from Sam Wise when he was doing his gardening.
Exactly.
You have a backpack, a belt, a leather pouch where you keep your money. To find out how much money you have, guess what we have to do?
Roll.
Roll a dice. Yeah. So we're going to roll again. We've got 7 gold crowns.
That's great.
Okay, that's not bad. That's something that's better than 1. And less than 8. So we're going to, okay, so we've got 7 gold crowns. So I'll put that in there. 7 gold crowns. We also, let's see what else we have. You have backpack, a belt, leather pouch. Yeah, that's all on my character sheet. I think in your backpack you can store up to 8 items. You can discover potions, food portions, etc., etc. But I think when we start in the monastery, we don't have anything in it yet, apart from the money in our belt. I thought we started with 2 meals, but I might be wrong about that. I can't see it says that anywhere. If you see that, let me know.
It says 1 meal.
Oh, we got 1 meal, so he's got like half a sausage or something in his backpack. Okay, so we've got 1 meal. Okay,
It
cool.
should be on the action chart. 1 meal, it says.
Okay, and is there anything else we're supposed to have at the beginning?
Hanging from your waist is a leather pouch containing the gold crowns, and there amongst the smoking ruins you also have a map of Summerland.
Yeah, that's the map that and we've got the cloak, which it's quite good for hiding you. That's the map that we looked at earlier.
Then you have to roll the random number table for 1. You must pick. I think you already picked this, didn't you? Pick the article, the weapon.
Yeah, we did that. That's one of the skills. That's one of the 5. So I think we're good to go.
Excellent.
All right. So basically, there's a really long waffling chapter about how the thing starts, but you're told to turn up early for your training. There's a big festival. When they have this big festival, all the Kai gather at this monastery, but suddenly the monastery is under attack. And in fact, I have a picture of the monastery under attack, which I'm going to share with you. And I used to see the model of this shop in a shop window in London, and I would travel up to London just to look at it, because back in the day it was very cool. And this was built especially to promote these books.
Yes.
And it was on the front. I'll see if I can make it bigger. Is that bigger now?
It's perfect, Lance. It's big enough. I definitely can see the monastery is under attack.
Yeah, so these are the Kai warriors defending it up here. And I believe this model sadly no longer exists. And it's being attacked by the old enemy of Summerland. And they have these winged creatures called the Kran, and the Kran are bringing in like the equivalent of what you would call the equivalent of orcs, I guess. They're called Gyaks. And if you can imagine that, it's like Nazgul carrying these giant nets full of orcs.
Mm-hmm.
And what they basically do is they're swooping over the compound and releasing them. And a bit like a modern equivalent of paratroops, basically. So your old Kai master, who's this your Obi-Wan Kenobi guy, comes knocking on your door and says, "We're under attack. Kran are attacking." This guy's called Starfire, very cool fantasy name. And he's basically saying, "We're under attack. We've got to go. We've got to do this." And the options are, I'll read out the passage. So the first of the winged Krans swoop down from out of the darkening skies. They come screeching towards the monastery's gatehouse. Very Lord of the Rings, that. You see that they're carrying Gyaks upon their leathery backs. These fierce creatures are the mainstay of the Dark Lord's armies. So the Dark Lord is the bad guy.
Right.
He was banished. The backstory is he was banished. He's sworn vengeance on the Kai, who are the guys that got rid of him. It's a kind of mix of Lord of the Rings and Star Wars influence. What they may lack in physical size and intelligence, they're compensated for in their vast numbers. So they're more like goblins, I think. The doors of the gatehouse are half open, and as the leading Kran drop their riders and wheel away, the first few Gyaks scramble to their feet, come rushing headlong towards the opening. They are determined to gain entry before the great doors of the monastery can be fully closed. So, Silent Wolf, that's our character's name. Follow me, commands Starfire, and he turns and runs swiftly towards the gatehouse entrance. Now, we do not have a weapon at this stage, so just so you know. So the options are: do you, like the obedient acolyte that you are, immediately follow Kai Masters, and that's the rank you want to get to, Kai Master Starfire's order, or do you decide to arm yourself from a weapons rack that's kind of within eyesight before following him, or do you follow him immediately? So what do you want to do?
I'm going to follow him immediately because of the gravity of because they're under attack.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I think to the character, that's kind of true to the character, because he's a equivalent of a Kai in training, Jedi in training, and he's gonna follow the orders of his master, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that takes me to page number 392. I don't know where that would take you.
Well, I'll just flip till I get to that. Or it's number 392, or is it page 392?
Actually, it's on page. It's on. I don't know what page it is.
Okay,
but it's 392. Yeah, this book hasn't actually got page numbers.
Yeah.
And the passage begins with Starfire unleashes his sword as he runs. He glances over his shoulder. Then he tosses the blade towards your haft first. You catch it easily by the handle without slowing pace. So look at that. Within seconds, you've got a weapon. So basically, what he's done is he's thrown you his sword. So we get to put sword on our action chart. So we now have a weapon. Now, that's not a broadsword, so we don't get +2 with that. It's just a standard sword. He then unhooks a double-bladed axe from his belt. Very Jason Momoa. Launches himself at the Gaiax. We can just pretend he's Jason Momoa from now on, because I know that will please you immensely. And as they come scurrying through the gap in the gatehouse doors, in a blur of deadly motion, he strikes the leading enemy, uppercut blow with his axe, etc., etc. He kills loads of them, basically. Leave them to me, he says. With his bloodied axe, he points towards a lever that's set in the south tower of the gatehouse Barbican wall. Immediately you turn and sprint towards it, determined to carry out his command as quickly as you can. So, yeah, I think he basically wants us to cut the lever so that we can close the gatehouse. Okay, as we're storming towards this, 20 feet away, a Gaiac breaks away from the fight and comes rushing up to intercept us. It runs directly towards the lever, then turns to block our path with a chilling growl. It levels its spear, gets ready to impale us. If you possess the Kai discipline of mind over matter, which I believe we do.
How about that?
We can turn to 217. Well, let's do that then. Okay, so we're going to turn to 217. You draw upon your psychic skill and focus the power of your mind upon the lever. Oh, I see. We're using it to move the lever. Okay, very good. Willing it to rise, heightened by the surge of battle energy, if that's a thing, I guess it is, now coursing through your veins upon your modest mental skill is much amplified. The lever shudders, then slowly it starts to move. The sudden creak of the monastery's heavy iron-shod door distracts the Gaiac. Nervously, it looks away to the great gates as they begin to close. For a brief moment, you now have the advantage, so we've distracted him. We seize it without hesitation, rushing forwards, bringing our sword up, thrust its razor-sharp point towards the creature's throat. Okay, so he has got a combat skill of 12 and an endurance of 12. And what happens is we roll a dice and we add it to our combat skill. So our combat skill's 18, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty high. Yeah.
So I think unless we roll a 1 and he rolls a 10, we're gonna whip this guy pretty badly. And then every time you hit someone, I think the standard damage that you do, I think is 4. Did you read that? Do refresh me on anything.
I have to go back. I'm farther down in the.
So at the start of the combat, you ended both. You did blah 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 blah. You don't. When you've determined. Oh no, it's not okay. Add any extra points through card disciplines, combat skills, etc. Then when you've determined your combat ratio, pick a number from the random table. Oh, that's right. We have to work out the combat ratio.
And
So
I
in
think
other
you have
words,
to don't you have to subtract? Am I incorrect
there's
on
a, there's a there's a combat ratio of whether we're fighting at a minus or a plus.
Okay.
So we're fighting at +6 because his combat is 12, ours is 18. So I know there's a couple of people watching. So by the way, if we get anything wrong, please feel free to jump in. And thanks for watching. So we're basically rolling. There's a combat results table, which is here, and you can see that there's a plus and minus along the top.
Yes.
And we're fighting at +6. So basically what we're doing is we're rolling a d10 on the +6 thing, which will then determine how much damage each of us get. I completely forgot. I think I was in a fighting fantasy book for a minute, which uses a different combat system. Okay, so we're going to have to take down our lovely castle for a second. And I'm so paranoid about hitting the wrong button when I'm doing all these... yeah, I don't want to hit the end stream by accident. That wouldn't be good. Okay, so here we go. So we need to clear this.
Yes.
So we're doing our... No, we don't do it in 2d10. Okay, so we're throwing a d10. On the +6 table, we've got a 7. So on the a 7 on the +6 table is our character has taken 0 damage. The enemy has taken 12 damage. He's dead. We killed him in a single blow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And now I've forgotten what number we were on because I've just closed the book. Hang on. I found it. We were on 2017. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So you might need to write these down occasionally when we go into combat. So yeah, he had endurance 12. So we obviously did some really cool maneuver. We killed him. So we go to 511. Now, I think in the original book, there are only 500 numbers. And in the extended version, the director's cut, if you like, I think there's like 550. So it's slightly bigger. Okay. My God, this is a huge section of text, which I'm going to edit down. You step away from the Gaiac's dead body with your heart pounding. No shit. This is the first time you've killed a Gaiac. The body is in the grip of 2 conflicting emotions, elation and revulsion. Okay. Well fought, Silent Wolf, cries Jason Momoa from the distance, starring in our guest role. The shock of your first combat subsides once the main gate is secured. Okay, so the main gate's secured. Very good. Now, the Kai Master Starfire praises us and he directs his gaze towards the top of the highest tower in the monastery. This magnificent edifice is called the Tower of the Sun. It's where the Kai Masters have the halls of learning. The highest level belongs to the leader of the Kai, Grand Master Braveblade. So here we go. Here's our next mission in the midst of this battle. Silent Wolf, I have an important task for you. Look up there to the very, very top of the tower. Tell me what you see. So we look up there. Unnatural darkness, skies crowned with crime, beasts, and so on. We see the crystal beacon set in an elaborate spire at the top. This is also feeling very familiar. I want you to go there now and fire up the beacon. This is the warning beacon. We might remember this scene from another movie.
Yes.
So Starfire looks towards the spire and frowns. Something is wrong. The sentinels of the tower should have set off the beacon by now. They must have fallen. Oh yeah. So now that you've got these things coming in called Zlan Beast, they're like Kran, which are like the Black Rider pterodactyl things, but Zlan Beast are like bigger versions of them, and they're the ones that are bringing in the nets of Gaiacs. So loads more Gaiacs are crashing into the courtyard. Go, Silent Wolf, urges Jason Momoa as he steels himself to counter this airborne attack. Go and fire up that beacon. Right, so basically we've got to go to the beacon, but before we have to do that, there's more combat. Suddenly a Gaiac net soldier leaps in front of us. He's the sole survivor of one net that falls down and kills all the others inside it. But this guy is in a state of battle frenzy. He doesn't feel any pain. So all wounds inflicted upon this enemy in the first 2 rounds of combat are halved. So I don't think we're going to kill this guy in a single blow. If the guy loses 5 endurance points in the first round of combat, halve this sum to 2. Yeah, okay, right, we've got that. All right, so he's got a combat skill of 13. So this time we're at +5. So we're going to do our random roll again because we've got to fight him before we do anything else. So we got a 10. I think we killed him.
Oh my gosh, this is.
Hang on. Well, actually, no, because it's halved. It will be 5.
Yes.
Half for the first 2 rounds, isn't it? So hang on. So we got a 10, which, right. So normally we would have done 18 damage on a 10 at a +5. We've done 9. He's got endurance of 13. We've taken no hit points. He's now down to 4. And it's now the second round of combat. We're going to roll again.
Okay.
So, and we get a 9.
That's pretty good.
We're getting pretty good on the die rolls here. A
Very
9 is we've done 16 damage to him and taken no damage, and he is dead.
Wow.
Okay, so you're kind of, your character is like spinning around and doing lots of very kind of East Asian kung fu sword type maneuvers here, because that's what the Kai do. Okay, so he's out of it. He's gone. All right, so we're still under our attack here. So I'm going to put our battle picture back up for the moment. Right, okay. So now we go to 2, 4, 6, and there might be another choice for you to make here. Let's see. 2, 4, 6. We leap over the dead body. We're going through library into the building that's full of libraries and apartments and things. We pass a colleague who's called Swift Owl. I love these names. Swift Owl, and who is hastening in the opposite direction towards a barricade that's been constructed by several Kai masters. Take courage, Silent Wolf, he says. Duty awaits you outside this day. Conquer your fear and be proud of who you are. Mistakenly, he's assumed that you're fleeing from the battle because you're going on your mission. So he thinks you're... no, but you say, you reply, forgive me. I'm under orders from Master Starfire. I'm to make my way to the top. And for a second, we feel a wave of heat. So he's doing a mind reading thing to see if we're lying.
Oh, that's interesting.
On our head. And then, yeah, we feel a sudden wave of heat passing through our head. And at once you sense that he's using psychic skills to tell if you're speaking the truth. Then a smile flickers across his face. That way, child. And he points to the door. Child, how dare you? Right, so here are the options. You hurry towards the arched doorway at the far end of the hall. Beyond it, there's a wide passageway lined with oak cupboards that stretch from floor to ceiling. You recognize this place. It's where the spare furniture and equipment for the entrance hall is stored. Now, do you wish to stop and search some of the cupboards, or do you want to hurry along your way without stopping?
No, I want to get that beacon lit.
Yeah, so okay, all right. So we're not stopping. We're going. No. I mean, there could have been something interesting in those cupboards, but all right. I think that's probably the right choice. At the end of the passageway, you pass through a series of antechambers before arriving in the kitchens. Look at all this food on the table here. They've done a picture.
Oh my gosh, I've got to grab something.
So the cooks have prepared a banquet for the Fimon festival. That's the festival that should have been happening. There's jugs of wine. Well, I would definitely grab one of those. Kitchens open, fires are blazing, etc., etc. You've barely taken 2 steps into this place when there's a sudden explosion and shattered glass comes in from the ceiling. The cooks dive for cover. The enemy have landed on the roof of the cooking place. Gaiaks are now smashing the skylights in an attempt to gain entry to the Kai Master's chambers. You grab a silver serving tray and cover your head as you run through to protect us from the glass. Okay. Tray saves you from serious injury, but one falling shard embeds itself in the knuckles of your left hand and you lose 1 endurance point. Ouch.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, we're down to 21. Now, don't forget, we have the power of healing. So every time we go into a room and nothing, or a number and nothing happens, we can elect to heal. And when we do that, every time you do that, you can get up to 2 points back. But I would wait until we're further injured. Remember, we can only use that ability 10 times. So now we've got 4 people watching. Thank you for watching, guys. We are doing the Lone Wolf. We're playing the first book with my good friend Rrrr, who is not familiar with the world of Lone Wolf, but I think she's finding it enjoyable, though. It's a very good world building thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of influences, obviously, but you've got to remember this was written in, I think the first book was written in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. So we hurry beyond. So it doesn't say that we picked up any food, which feels a bit
surprised we didn't grab, you know, a piece of fruit or something.
I thought there would, yeah, I thought there would have been an option to like add a meal there.
Yes.
Let me just double check I didn't miss that. No, I don't. I think basically the interruption of glass and goblins coming through the ceiling or Gaiacs probably. Okay, so we tear a strip of our cloak off to bandage our hand. Then we arrive in a corridor which we know well. It leads towards your dormitory. At the end, there are 2 doors. One leads to a corridor that connects to the dormitory. The other leads out into the training park. Now, I don't know which one of these routes is going to take us towards the tower a bit faster. So it's either the training park or the dormitory.
Well,
what do you reckon?
Some other special ability that helps us to kind of find things? Maybe that's the wrong ability.
Yeah, the track. Well, it always gives you the option when you can use them. And
no, I understand. Why don't you pick this time? Because I picked the last time.
I think we should stay within the building. So I'm gonna go for the dormitory, and there might also be some useful bits to grab while we're there. So let's go with the dormitory. That takes us to 333. Just so you know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
You pull open the door and enter the arched roof corridor. 5 of your fellow cadets come hurrying towards you. It's like Master Luke. Clutching their weapons in readiness to join in the defense. You step aside to allow them to pass. As they go by, you caution them about the attack now taking place in the Kai Master's kitchens. They thank you for the warning and raise the hoods of their cloaks as they press along the way you've just come. Okay, the arch corridor leads to a junction where another passageway heads off towards the Kai Armory. Potentially the opportunity to pick up a broadsword there, which gives +2 in combat. Directly ahead of you is the door to the dormitory, which is open. So do you want to go towards the passage that leads to the armory, or do you want to go into the dormitory?
Let's go to the armory.
I think, yeah, it's bound to have more interesting things. You know, I don't want to see the Kai's dirty magazine collection in the dormitory. Okay, you're approaching a right turn in the corridor. God, this place is pretty big. When you hear the muffled sounds of combat coming from somewhere ahead. Yeah, that's right. Number 15 we're on now. You draw your weapon and peer around the corner, cautious and fearful. At the end of the passageway, close to the armory door, you see a friend of yours, Snow Falcon. His hair white, he's an albino. That's how we recognize him in the dark. He's grappling with a Gaiac assault trooper. The bodies of 2 Gaiacs slain lie nearby. The Gaiac strikes Snow Falcon a glancing blow to the head, and he falls backwards. You see blood flowing from his forehead, running into his eyes. Yeah, it's pretty violent.
You gotta help me, Lance.
Falcon is suddenly blinded. He reels away. When his back hits the armory door, the Gaiac snickers evilly. Evilly? Is that a word? It is now. It raises its sword and gets ready to deliver your friend a killing blow right now. We don't get a lot of options here. We get 2, and unfortunately, I know which one we're going to pick. It says, if you have an axe, turn to page 166. If you do not have an axe, turn to page 147.
Now, wasn't the axe one of the things we had?
No, we've just got a sword.
Okay.
So we don't even have a dagger or anything that we can. We haven't got a projectile weapon.
More than enough time to really do anything, I guess.
Yeah, because we're still about like 20 feet from this guy. So I'm afraid we're going to have to turn to the we do not have an axe number, which is 477. Snow Falcon might be about to meet his grisly end. You unsheath your weapon and charge headlong the passageway. Well, that's our sword, which I think is already out, if I'm honest. Mm-hmm. The sudden commotion makes the Gaiac spin round. This creature can see clearly in the dark. When it sees you charging towards it, yelling like a madman, it draws back its sword and gets ready to block your first attacking blow. Well, good news. Its combat skill is only 13 to R18, so that gives us a +5 already.
Right.
So I reckon, and he's endurance of 12, which seems to be standard for these Gaiac guys. So I think we're gonna, if we get a good die roll, we'll be able to dispense with this chap. So it doesn't look like he's killed our friend yet.
Good.
Let's see what happens. All right, okay. So we're gonna throw the D10 again. We got a 10. That's it. I think we killed him. Let me have a look. +5 with a 10 is 18 points of damage. We don't take anything. He's got endurance of 12. He is dead in a single blow. No, it almost feels too easy. 274. But we have had pretty good die rolls.
Yeah, they have been extraordinary.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a combat roll under 8 yet. There's all been like 9s and 10s and okay, so if you win this combat, go to 274. Okay. So 274. Where's my water? There it is. Okay. So we step over the lifeless body. You always were the best fighter in class, says your friend. There we go. Wiping the blood from his eyes. Good job for you that I had to practice this morning, you reply. Okay. Anyway, so he says one day he hopes he can return the favor. You tell Snow Falcon you've got an important order to carry out for Master Starfire. The Kai be with you, says Silent Wolf. I think that's the equivalent of the Force. The Force be with you. And he hurries away. May Kai be with us all this day, you shout back to him as he disappears from view. Okay, with an ever-growing sense of dread, you turn back towards the armory door, push it open and enter. Okay, and then we go to 447. So 447 is... Most of the weapons that are usually stored in the racks of the armory have been taken by your brethren.
No.
Now only a few remain. Okay, so these are the ones that remain. There's a dagger, there's a warhammer, there's a spear, there's a sword, which we already have, there's a quarterstaff, and there's a Kai shield. Now the Kai shield +2 when used in combat with any weapon. So in other words, if we take that and we're attacking someone with our sword, that's going to give us +2 to the die roll that we already have. So I'm going to recommend that we definitely take the Kai shield.
I agree.
And I think, and you can carry, that's not a weapon, that's an item. You can carry, it's a special item. So it goes in the special items section, which goes in your backpack. We can carry 2 weapons. Would maybe a dagger be? We've got a sword. I mean,
yeah,
dagger, spear. I don't Warhammer. Warhammer feels heavy.
Yeah, let's get the dagger. The dagger comes.
Dagger.
Yeah, let's do the dagger.
All right. So basically we're adding to our character. We're adding dagger, and we're adding Kai shield. Let me get back to the character sheet here. I should have had this up on the screen.
Oh, it's okay.
When we're on book 22. We will have got really sophisticated.
That's right.
Me and our will both have like flowing locks of grey Gandalf-like hair then. Right, so special items. So we got the Kai shield, which now gives us a +2 in combat. So, if we have the shield and we get a broadsword, we'll have +4. So we'll be like really kicking ass then. We're doing pretty good without that. And we have picked up the dagger as our second weapon. Okay. All right. So what we want to do ideally at some point is replace the sword with a broadsword.
Got it.
Okay. Now we don't need to use our healing abilities at this point. I would probably wait until we've been further injured. I just want to double check how much you do get healed with that. Healing. If you possess it for every numbered section of the book you pass, this is only used after you be sure to remember that your transcript not lost by its original level. Okay, no, so every time you use it, it actually only restores 1. But I don't think we need to use it right now. So, okay. And you can also get it by eating. You can eating meals. I think restores your endurance as well.
I
Because
thought
we
they
can
were
only
going to
use.
give us a chance to eat when we got hurt. That's what I'm surprised by.
Yeah. Well, because you can only use the healing power itself 10 times. Because I guess that's like a force power. Okay, so we now go to 93. 93. You leave the armory door, which leads you to the ground level, one of the monastery's gatehouse towers. Your hope is that the Barbican and its fortified gallery, which protects the main gates, are both still secure. If they are, you'll be able to use this gallery to reach the second gatehouse tower. Your intention, I really need a map of this place, is to enter the adjoining stables from the second tower and then hopefully gain access to the Tower of the Sun by that way. So
Right.
you got that. We've got to go through the gatehouse, the stables, and then via the stables access the Tower of the Sun. You know that there is a stone portal in the north wall of the stables. It's used by the Kai Masters, but also by the Grand Master Braveblade himself. Okay, for when they need a horse urgently. So I guess basically what we're saying is there's a secret staircase. A wide stone stair spirals up towards the top of the first tower. As you ascend it, the concussive boom of explosion grows steadily louder, and the steps shudder alarmingly beneath your feet. When you reach the top of the spiral stair, you discover that the tower's lookout chamber is filled with smoke. There's the lifeless body of a guard on the floor. He's got an arrow embedded in the top of his skull. Okay. He's fallen beside a ladder which gives access to a trapdoor in the tower roof. Through the acrid smoke, you can see a dark shape moving at the top of the ladder. I'm going to guess this is something nasty. The smoke stings your eyes, making it difficult to see clearly. But your senses tell you at once it's a Gaiac assault trooper. This deadly foe has been landed on the roof, so he's come from one of the winged beasties.
Right.
Away to your right, there's an archway which leads to the fortified gallery which spans the main gate. At the end of this suspended passageway is the door to the second tower. So that's where we want to go. If you wish to kick the base of the ladder to make it topple over, go to 409. If you choose not to kick the ladder, you can escape from the smoke and the approaching Gaiacs by quickly entering the fortified gallery. So kick the ladder or zoom, push on.
Kick the ladder.
I think kick the ladder. I think that's because it doesn't take much to kick the ladder, does it? And then you can keep running. So let's see what happens. We go to page 40. Well, we go to number 45. The ladder floor shudders and the broken plaster cascades away from the ceiling as you run through this battered, dust-choked passageway towards the second gatehouse tower. Quickly, you push open the tower door and witness a scene that makes you cry out with shock and anger. A gaping hole has been torn from the tower wall. The blast of the explosion, which destroyed the wall, has killed the 3 Kai sentinels who were posted here and allowed the enemy to gain access unopposed. 2 Gaiacs are crouching over the corpses of your dead comrades, gleefully mutilating their bodies with long serrated knives. This is pretty gory. Fired by your sudden rage and revulsion. Nice alliteration there. You unsheath your weapon. I don't know why I keep saying that because I'm pretty sure we've got our weapon out.
It's in your hand, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure I don't think we're sheathing it after each battle here. I think we're running around with our sword. Our sword is ready. You unsheath your weapon and attack those ghoulish Gaiacs before they can turn their cruel blades on you. Due to the speed and the ferocity of your attack, you may increase your combat skill by 2 for the duration of this fight. So actually, we're increasing it by 4 because of the shield.
Wow.
It gives us +2 to our combat when attacking with a weapon. If you win the combat in 3 rounds or less, which I'm pretty sure we're going to, turn to page 182. And if it takes longer, we go for... Right, okay. So they've got combat skill of 14. They've combined them into one thing. And endurance of 15. And we've got combat skill of 18, which is a difference of 4. But we've got +4, which is a difference of 8. So let's roll the dice. Okay, here we go. So difference of 8. And that's an 8. We've gone high again. I feel like we've not rolled a die roll under 4 yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
No. So on +8 with a die roll of 8, damage to the enemy is 16. We've killed them both.
Wow.
So they are dead. So we do kill them. We kill them in a single round of combat. So we go to 182. And that's what I've got. There's a picture here. That's what a Gaiac looks like. Can you see that guy?
I can see it. Wow.
Very,
Okay.
very goblin-y.
Yes.
More like a goblin than an orc, I would say.
Yes.
As the second Gaiac shrieks and falls, clutching desperately at the mortal wound you've dealt its throat, you sense movement behind your back. This is why I wanted to see how long it would take. Spinning round, you see a Gaiac assault trooper framed in the doorway. It is the Gaiac you saw earlier, the one who was coming down the ladder. So you obviously waylaid him a bit. He's got a spiked mace. He comes rushing towards us. We sidestep, bringing our weapon up to parry the attack. The mace connects with bone-jarring force, but your swift action turns its deadly head aside and you escape unscathed. So I think actually we would have been killed if we had taken longer than 3 rounds, because that's what that is suggesting. Shrieking with frustration, the Gaiac strikes again. So combat skill of 13. Right, so this time we just got the +2 for the shield, but that still takes us up to 20. So that's a difference of 7.
Wow.
Yeah, difference of 7. Okay, so let's roll the dice again. Just as well I've kept the dice thing up because I think we're going to need it.
Yes.
Difference of 7. Here we go. We've got a low roll for a change. 3. Okay.
Well, that's the first.
Yep. So we've taken damage. We've taken 2 damage. He's taken 9. He's got endurance of 14, so he's down to 5. And we've lost 2, so we're down to 19. So I'm just going to record that. Just going to record that damage. Yeah, okay. And we're on, if you could remember this number in case I lose it, we're on 182. 182. So we're down to 19. Okay, so it's down to 19. And let's roll the dice again.
Let's do it.
This is the second round. 3. That's the same damage again. So we're now down to 17. And he is dead. So we go to 258. Now, I think we should use some of our heals just to get back up to 20 when we get a chance, I would suggest. I always like to try and keep the endurance around the 20 mark. Oh my God. Okay, right. So 258 is a massive sequence of text, which I'm going to edit down substantially. So through the whole entire wall, you observe another wave of Kran and Zlam beast approaching from the west, catching these fleeting glimpses through the burning smoke, which is much thicker than before. All of the small battlement fires have now connected, and the monastery's entire northwest quarter is fiercely ablaze. Your stomach churns at the sight of this terrible destruction, but you're determined to complete the task that Starfire has set you. Okay, so then there's lots of stuff about climbing through gaping holes and running in corridors, freeing a frightened horse, steering the horse away from the fire. The enemies all around. There's a handful of Kai fighting out in the open. And then the unexpected appearance of a rider on a horse confuses the Gaiacs. Oh, I think we just jumped on the horse and ridden across like a courtyard.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So you're getting ready to dismount. So I guess that was a way of cutting time. We're getting ready to dismount when finally a few yards away, there's an enemy soldier clad in black steel armor. This is a Drakar, one of the brutal species of humanoid warriors in the Dark Lord Zagana's army. Okay, so the Dark Lord is called Zagana. There you go. Who has arrived with the third wave. With cool, ruthless efficiency, he tracks your movements, takes careful aim, and squeezes the trigger of his heavy crossbow. Okay, so he's going to try and kill us with his crossbow. Now, got 3 options here. If you possess the Kai discipline of Mind Blast, which we do not, turn to page blah blah. If you possess the Kai discipline of mind over matter, which we do, you can turn to page 344. If you possess neither of these, I suspect that's not good for you. So we're going to go to 344. So that's not a resting page, so we can't heal at this point in time. 344. Here we go. See what happens. So these guys, I think, are more like the orcs.
Yes.
These are like the big warriors. Your psychic senses have been heightened and sharpened by the many dangers that surround you. Instinctively, your eyes are drawn to the distant Drakkar who's about to fire his crossbow. You sense he's the greatest threat of all. Hurriedly, you focus on his weapon and direct a wave of psychic energy towards it. The wave you release is weak and too quickly prepared, yet it is just enough to cause the crossbow to move a little in his gauntleted hands. He fires, and the steel bolt comes whistling across the battlefields towards you, passing by your head with barely a hand's breadth, so it just misses you. So I think that would have been a kill shot if we hadn't been able to do that, because you can turn to pages and you can just die straight away in this.
Right.
Yeah. So I think we just avoided a. You've been
we're
killed.
just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. I think we just avoided a you've been killed.
That got really close there.
Yeah. Okay, another massive section of text, which I will edit down.
Okay.
So we're still on the horse. I guess we decided not to dismount. Over to the Kai Chapel, where a dozen or more Gaiaks are trying to force their way through its partly shattered door, and there's a pair of young Kai initiates defending it the other side. This really reminds me of the Jedi Temple.
Yes.
What was that we saw the flashback and you saw more of the attack on the
It was
Jedi
Grogu
Temple
in Mandalorian. I'm sorry, in the Book of Boba Fett season 1.
That was one of the things I really did like in the Book of Boba Fett, when you flash back to that and you saw that. I did like that. I wanted to see that in the movie.
Yes, but his little face, he was so confused seeing what was
and when the guy ran up to him and you know, that was the ambassador, wasn't it, that landed, and the Jedi was running up to him trying to be saved, the young, like, teenage one. Yeah, this really reminds me of all this. So okay, your brave horse carries you directly into this tight-knit group of attackers. Well, that's very kind of him. Scattering their rear ranks and crushing those in the center with its steel-shod hooves. Very good. He rears up and uses his forelegs like twin hammers, raining a rapid series of blows upon their heads. Clearly, this is Champion the Wonder Horse. You unsheath your weapon again. Well, maybe we did sheath it to ride
for some reason, but maybe not.
Yeah, maybe we sheathed it to ride. As your feet touch the black blood-soaked ground, you are set upon by a handful of snarling, vengeful Gaiaks. You slay 2 of the number, break the jaw of the 3rd, no die roll required, clearly, with a swift backhanded slash. Get inside, Silent Wolf, someone cries from the chapel. It's the voice of Rain Dove.
Oh.
Love all these names. A friend and fellow initiate. Heeding her cry. Oh, this could be the girlfriend setup, you know. You dive headlong through the narrow gap in the chapel door and somersault to a halt on the stone floor beyond. So kind of like James T. Kirk sort of maneuver. Rain Dove and her brave companion, Steel Sky, block the gap as soon as you are safely through. Using one of the chapel's heavy wooden pews, the Gaiaks pound at the hastily barricaded door. Okay, well, that was, I mean, we did all that without rolling any dice. I'm very impressed. Inside the chapel, there are less than a dozen Kai who have sought sanctuary here from the battle. All of them are bloodied and torn from the fight. Okay, right. And there's a Kai journeyman who's been injured in the wrist. They're using healing skills and so on. You fought well, Silent Wolf. You're telling me. I just somersaulted and did all sorts. I was never in doubt, retort Rain's Dove. I knew you would survive. Hurriedly, you tell your friends of the urgent task from Kai Master Starfire. They too know of the portal that leads to the chapel. Well, that's right, because we had to go to the stables. Hence why we took the horse, I guess.
Yes.
2 of you hurry towards the altar, positioned at the north end of the prayer hall. Here's the altar. Look, I did a drawing of it. Let me get that up there. There's the altar. Because one of the things that they do really well with the world building of this, is he did banners for all the different, all the kind of different contingents. You see, that's one of the banners there.
Okay.
Yeah, so all like the different armies and stuff, they all have their own colors. You know, I always thought that was very cool. I think we can take down our die rolling thing for the moment, and we could put back up our map, couldn't we? Well, actually, well, we're not outside the castle yet, so we'll put the map up when we get out of the castle. Okay, so positioned beside the west wall of the sacristy is a large stone tomb, the last resting place of Iron Pearl. I guess that's a sequel or prequel waiting to happen. Former Kai Grandmaster. Held by brackets on the top of his tomb is a replica of the Grandmaster's famous Iron Pearl broadsword. You may unlock this weapon from its brackets and use it if you wish. So we can now pick up a broadsword and exchange it for our sword.
Finally.
Yeah, it says a replica. So it's a replica of the famous Iron Pearl broadsword. So, I mean, if you already possess two weapons, we have to discard one. We'll just get rid of the other sword, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, when it says replica, does that mean that it's going to break in our first fight? I don't know.
Inspired by, I don't know why it would have to be a replica of. Is there something special about the original?
Yeah, maybe. So maybe the one on the top of the tomb is just like it's not the actual. Got a comment from someone watching. Let me have a quick, unless it's is this from the new edition? So this is Desert Phoenix. Yes, it is, sir.
Yes,
I've got it right here. We're going through it as we're reading, and my friend Rrrr is completely a new Kai acolyte to the world of Lone Wolf. So Desert Phoenix, thanks for tuning in. Share the stream, and I am going to do all of the books live online, possibly until I'm in my 70s. But I'm going to try and do a bit of one every Sunday actually from now on. So I'm going to try and make this a kind of regular Sunday 8 o'clock.
Yes, and I should mention to you that next Sunday I'm going to be at LA Comic Con, so I won't be able to.
That's a far. I mean, next Sunday I won't be doing it actually because I'm going to be in Scotland.
Oh,
but I think most Sunday nights I'm going to try and do a bit of Lone Wolf. So,
no, I think it's a great idea to do that.
So if you want to get a fantastic picture with Rrrr, you need to go to Comic Con. Are you going to be in costume?
I don't think I'm going to have a costume on in this run, but it's still going to be fantastic. And then we have another comment by Desert Phoenix. Desert Phoenix says, "Okay, I didn't remember this dialogue from the original. I have the original book, and it is different. So you're right."
Yeah, and the main difference from the new edition is that the whole attack on the Kai Monastery is very extended.
It is. I think in the original, am I correct, Lance, that you actually have to flee?
Yeah, in the original, I don't think you have to go up to the tower and light the sun, light the thing from to muster the Rrrr kind of thing. Anyway, okay, so Raindove pulls aside a large, heavy gold velvet curtain which hangs out from the stout wooden rail besides the tomb. Behind this is the stone door which leads to the lower hall of the Tower of the Sun. Finally,
yes.
Okay. There is no handle to this heavy door, only 3 spherical tumblers, right, make note of this, which are inscribed with numerals. In order to open the portal, you must align the 3 tumblers so that the correct 3-digit code appears in sequence on their facing. Bollocks. How do we do this?
3-digit
The first number is, here we go. The first number is equal to the number of Gyaks you found mutilating the corpses of the slain Kai guards in the second gatehouse tower. God, I can't remember how many that was. The second number is equal to the number of horses you discovered trapped in the burning stables. I kind of skipped through that bit. And the third number is equal to the number of Gyaks who offered to surrender to you during the battle in the training park. Well, that's none. So 0. So it's something 0. Right. Okay. If you are unable to answer these okay, hang on. Right. If you're unable to answer the questions, or if your answer proves to be incorrect, turn to 361. Right.
Let's just go to 361, Lance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. So I seem to recall I fell foul of this before. 361. All right. Despite your best efforts, for fuck's sake, if we can't open the door, our life ends here.
Yes, that's true.
So well, you should have told me that. So we need to open the door because despite the best efforts to find the correct combination of the numbers that will release this lock, the stone portal remains resolutely locked. Exasperated by the delay, you use your broadsword from the Iron Pearl's tomb to prise open the door, but it can't be forced. Suddenly, there's an explosion in adjoining chapel, and you and your companion are thrown to the floor by the shockwave. The enemy have used a powerful magical charge to destroy the barricaded door. You're staggering to your feet when a second explosion, much louder and fiercer than the first, hurls you across the sacristy, slams your head hard against the wall. The enemy have set off a second charge above the chapel, and this has caused the entire roof to collapse. Before you can recover your senses and get back on your feet, you're crushed by falling roof timbers, shattered tiles, blah, blah, blah. Darkness engulfs you and you feel no pain. You fought with great skill and bravery this day.
Oh,
and you're a true Kai warrior, but sadly you've now joined the ranks of the fallen. And your mission ends here. So we can't have that. Now I know that the number of Gaiaks that surrendered was 0. And I know that we went through we went through both of these sections. We went through the number of Gaiaks you found mutilating corpses of slain Kai guards in the gatehouse was 2.
Yeah, I think it was 2.
It was 2. It was 2. So it's 2 something 0. The second number is equal to the number of horses you discovered in the burning stables. Well, I know that we rescued 1, but I feel like there were more, and I skimmed through that bit. See, usually when I play this, I write down all the number choices in order.
I didn't know. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I didn't know that those numbers would come into be handy, but that's good to know because I'm learning that now.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we released 2 horses. You hear a dull, stony click when you retake the third number into position. Then silently, the heavy portal swings open to reveal a torchlit passageway. Rain Dove bids you good luck. You pause to shake. So for those people watching, what we did was we paused, collected our thoughts.
That's right.
Remembered the things that we did, and then we went through the door. So I'm so glad that we did that successfully and we're not cheating.
That's right. We're not.
Absolutely. Okay. The narrow stone-walled corridor ends in a stout wooden door. It is banded with strips of polished brass and studded-headed nails, etc., etc. Beyond this door is the grand hall of the Kai. I mean, how big is this tower?
Wow, it's huge.
It's not like a small Disney turreted tower, is it? Clearly,
no.
It's more like a Harry Potter tower, like a big tower. Here is where the important formal occasions take place, where the higher ranks of the Kai dine and entertain royal or noble foreign visitors. Well, these monks like to live it up a bit, don't they?
They do.
The vast chamber is eerily empty and quiet, apart from, those big explosions that are about to happen in 2 minutes. Save for the faint noises of battle coming from beyond its formidable main door. There's a soft crackling of a large log fire, very romantic, which is burning in the hall's magnificent marble fireplace. You explore the hall, satisfy yourself that there are no high-ranking Kai present. Those that are still alive outside are doing battle with the Gaiak invaders. All of the large exterior doors to this hall have been locked and nailed shut from the inside. There is a smaller door located under the wide staircase, but when you twist its polished gold handle, it's locked. The only way you can leave the grand hall is by the passageway that will take you back to the Kai chapel, or by ascending a stone staircase which occupies the northeast corner. This gleaming white marble staircase gives access to the floor above. Well, we do want to go up. If you wish to search the hall for items that may be of use to you, turn to 66. If you wish to go up the staircase, 5118.
Let's go up the staircase.
Yeah, I think urgency is definitely.
And I promise you, the next time they ask us to search, I'll say yes.
Well, I think we're there. You ascend to the first floor of the Tower of the Sun. This level is divided into 4 smaller halls. I mean, this is a big tower known as the law halls, where people study. So basically the libraries. this is the first time you've ever set foot in these hallowed halls, because clearly he's not of such a level that he's allowed to get there. Just put your comment up. And then in the northeast corner of the law hall of Solaris, you find another stone staircase leading to the floor above. Hurriedly, you ascend the granite steps and emerge into the Kai Master's Hall. These grand chambers have several large pillars of fluted granite which support the floor of the chamber above. And there is a large stone throne. It's like the throne from Game of Thrones. Stone throne set upon a raised dais which abuts the east wall. This is where the masters hold their meetings and where Grandmaster Brave Blade consults with them. The throne is where the Grandmaster sits. So, obviously, the walls of the Kai Master's Hall are decorated with gold-framed paintings depicting the proudest moments of the history of Summerland. So Summerland is the country that the Kai serve. So
it must look incredible inside.
I mean, there isn't a picture, but I'm getting good visuals. Behind a drawn curtain in the northeast corner, you discover another staircase which extends to the top floor turreted above. Few of the lower ranks have ever trodden these steps before. Okay, very good. Mindful of your mission, you climb the steps and emerge into a wood-paneled room which is lined with bookshelves. And then there's a gallery, and then there's a ladder that affords access to the gallery, but it's broken. Set into the walls at regular intervals are narrow windows. You approach the south wall and look through. You're expecting to see a view of the training park below, but it's obscured by black smoke. Turn away from the window and look to the gallery once more. A banistered handrail extends all the way around it. You follow that and you find another ladder which ascends to a trapdoor through the ceiling. Okay, right. You realize this is the way to the top tower. Your pulse is quickening. It's where the crystal beacon is located.
Yes.
We're nearly there. We can nearly call for the Rrrrr. In order for you to reach this ladder, you must first find a way to climb up to the gallery. If you possess a rope, see, we might have found the rope if we'd done some searches.
That's true.
If you press the rope, turn to page 5. If you do not possess a rope, turn to 302. Now, I really hope that 302 does not say our adventure ends here. So 302 does not say our adventure ends here, but it doesn't say good things. In the center of the chamber stands a large globe depicting the continent and the seas of Magamund. In fact, there's a picture of it. There it is.
Nice.
It's like one of those ones that you find in someone's in Gandalf's office or whatever. There's a large flat map panel. And once you realize the rising offers a way to reach the gallery above, you run across the chamber, you leap to the panel's top edge as it ascends. Your hope is that you'll be lifted high enough to reach the banisters of the handrail so you can reach the ladder and get to the roof. Your plan is sound, except for one small unfortunate detail. The top of the panel is as sharp as a sword. So when you grab it, it bites deeply into the palms of your hands. Lose 3 endurance points. Right, we really need to do a healing at some point when we're not doing anything. Otherwise, we're going to die soon. So we've now gone down to 14. Okay. Despite the agony you suffer, you hang on just long enough to reach the gallery. If only we'd had that rope, eh? Both of your hands are now cut and bleeding, making it difficult for you to maintain a firm grip, but biting back the pain. Pull yourself over the rail, fall to your knees, cursing your misfortune, cursing Rrrr for not letting you search to find a rope. You bind your injured hands. When the pain finally subsides, you're able to flex your fingers and you approach the roof ladder. Turn to page 186. God, dear. Now that we endured some damage there. Okay, so 186. Right now, during this section, we're not in battle, so I'm going to say we're going to do a healing while we're here. So that's one of our healing things used, and that puts us back up to 15. Okay, so I'll just put this at the top here. So we're now on 15, and we've used one of our healing things. We've got 9 left for the duration of this. At the bottom of the ladder lies the corpse of a Kai mistress. She suffered deep wounds to her head, neck, and shoulders, barely recognizable. Mistress Truepath, one of the Kai Order's finest scouts. You hold her lifeless hand. It's still warm. She's been dead for less than an hour. Oh, how sad. So she obviously tried to set off the the thing, but her left ankle is badly broken, indicating that she fell from the ladder and landed here. Okay, but she was able to
ladder may not be very strong.
Yeah, she was able to pull the lever and seal off the trapdoor, denying her killers entry to this chamber.
Good.
I think that's not going to be good for us, but let's see. She was able to destroy the gallery's ladder so that if the enemy were to breach the trapdoor, they'd be further delayed. Your throat tightens when you realise that the enemies who killed Mistress Truepath are very likely waiting for you on the roof for the next Kai who attempts to reach the beacon. All of your survival instincts are screaming at you not to go up onto the roof, but you have a duty to fulfill. The longer you delay, the more likely the enemy are going to find a way to destroy the beacon before it's triggered. Okay, so here are the options. If you possess a Kai battle crystal, well, clearly we didn't search and find the Kai battle crystal. No, so yeah, Desert Phoenix. I started this series when it first came out, and I'm 48 now. Dude, I feel your pain because I'm 50 now, and I started it when it first came out. And I've got Desert Phoenix. I've got the original books are here. So here's the very first edition of Flight from the Dark, and that's what this guy looks like. Although he does have a very long face, I think our version of him it probably looks a bit cooler. Okay, so if you possess a Kai sleep crystal, if only we'd search those rooms and wish to use it. If you possess neither of these items or choose not to use them, turn to 471. So, right, okay, 471. So we're about to do Battlelight, I have a feeling. Yeah, here we go. Stealthing yourself all awaits you on the roof tower. You unsheath your weapon and use it to push the lever down. Then you swiftly climb the ladder in the hope that you may be able to catch the enemy by surprise. But the moment you emerge through the trapdoor and climb on the roof, you're attacked simultaneously by 2 Gaiac assault troopers and a Drakkar warrior.
Wow.
In black battle armor. You must fight these 3 determined enemies at the same time. Now, they've got endurance of 25, so they've got 10 more endurance than us. They've got combat skill of 16, but we have +4 because we've got 2 for the shield and 2 for the fact that we've got a broadsword, which is our skilled weapon. So that puts our combat skill at 22, which means that there's a difference of 6. So that's good for us. Difference of 6 is good. Desert Phoenix has got the first 20 books. See, I've got the first 10.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think they went up to around 30, I think.
I have 1.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just put this comment up for the moment. Okay. So, all right. So, Desert Phoenix, we are going to roll the dice. There's a lot. You know what? I'm really enjoying doing this. It's great fun.
Yeah,
share screen. So here we go. So we go Desert Phoenix, and for those people watching, we have a dice applicator here. So you can see that we don't cheat.
That's right.
Okay, so we've got a +6 on the combat ratio, which is good. Now we need those high die rolls. We didn't really need them before, but we're going to need them. We really need them now. 7, that's good. 7 is good. 7 is good. Okay, so 7 on the +6 is 7 on the +6. We take no damage. They take 12.
Wow.
So they're down to 13. So now they're between them. So we're clearly doing that, fighting 3 people at once, all different directions thing. Okay, so we're going to go for the second round. Here we go. 5, not quite as good. Let's see what that does. 5 is okay. They've taken 10 damage. So I think they're dead. Yeah, they're dead. They've taken 26 in total, and we've taken another 2.
So we might need to heal ourselves at this point.
Right? We do need to heal because we just went back up to 15, but we're now down to 13. So we definitely do need to heal. So I'm going to say because I like I said to you, I never like to get below 20. So any chance we get, let's use those healing powers.
All right.
So if you survive this ferocious combat, turn to page 227. Well, we have survived it.
All
Thank
right.
God. Okay, so 227. Let's have a look. 227. 227. Here we go. 227. 227. And it's interesting because, oh, damn, I think we're about to do more combat. Shit,
Oh,
yeah,
you're
we are.
kidding.
Okay, this guy's just suddenly appeared.
Oh, he looks fierce.
He does. Let me read out the section. Then we see we haven't even had a chance to do some healing.
Oh no, so we can't heal?
No, because you can only heal when you're not in combat or
Mm-hmm.
nothing is happening, basically.
Okay.
So yeah, but I think we get a bit of luck here because look, bruised and bloody from the fight, you pull yourself free from the bodies of your enemies, stumble towards the parapet of the tower. Icy wind is whistling through the crenellations of the monastery's tallest town. That's a cool word, not used that before. Its eerie sound mingling with the hellish cries of the Kran circling overhead. That's like the beast from the bit. What are those things called that they ride on? The riders ride on in Lord of the Rings.
I don't remember. I'm
Get
sorry.
the name of them there. So you struggle to catch your breath. Now, here we go. As you struggle to catch your breath, you notice a satchel lying on the floor nearby. It was dropped by the Drakkar during combat. Among its contents, which have spilled out, scattered across the tiles, you notice a phial of Lampspur. Now, Lampspur is great. Lampspur is like Red Bull. And if you drink it now, it restores 4 lost endurance points immediately. I think we will.
Yes.
Yeah. So, or you can save it in your backpack. No, we're not going to save it in our backpack. We're going to drink it.
Yes.
So that's going to put us back to. That's good. That's put us back to 17, and we've still only used one of our 10 natural our healing abilities. When you recover your strength enough to carry on, you make your way to the base of the crystal spire. Its rune carved trunk, forged from hardened steel, bears many fresh marks and indentations. Fortunately, this is just surface damage caused by the enemy's many fruitless attempts to render the beacon ineffective. Unbeknown to them, a small panel near the base can be slid aside to reveal a metal switch. Well, that's a bit unfortunate, which fires up the beacon. You are stooping to reach for the panel when suddenly a dark shape looms above you. A Gaiac captain. So that's the guy I just showed you the picture.
Yeah, that nasty looking creature.
Yeah, he's jumped off of one of the. Actually, in fact, if you look in the you can see in the corner, see the winged beast.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he's just jumped off of that, and he's on the tower. Oh, Corey Cochran. I've seen Corey on other streams. Nice to see you, man. How you doing? There's a hello there from my lovely guest. Just makes playing this all the more fun. Okay, so he's now in front of us. He's got combat skill of 16, endurance of 15, stumbles in his battle armor. He's determined to cleave my sculling too. Well, we'll see about that. So, okay, so he's got 16. Our combat skill is 18, but we still got +2 for our broadsword, and we've got +2 for our Kai shield. So we are, so we're 6 above him. So we're still on +6. So that's good. All right, let's get our die rolling up on here. Yeah, do you know when we were in lockdown, I nearly invented like a Star Trek version of this, where different people were going to be like different crew members on board the bridge, and I was going to like GM like a kind of like a quest and use the screen to bring on guest actors to play the alien ambassadors and stuff. It was a really good idea, that mulling around that I had for a while. So, okay. YouTube's been a prick this month. I'm sure it has. Right. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of people are moaning about YouTube at the moment. I'm not really too au fait with it. So I don't really know when to moan about it. All right, here we go. First combat roll. So we want high. Oh, that was nearly a 1, but it's a 7. His endurance is 15.
Okay.
So a 7 on +6, 12 damage. So he's not dead. We haven't taken any damage.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go again. 3. I'm pretty sure he's going to be dead. Yeah, he's taken another 8. So that has killed him. That's because that's 20 in total. We have taken 3.
Mhm.
So of those 4 points that we just lovingly restored ourselves, we are now down to, and if we win this combat, go to 132. So I'll just get that. Let me get that page. So we
Okay.
won the combat. We're on 132. I think we're about to muster the Rrrrr. But our endurance has gone back down to, did I say 3, didn't I? So we're back down to 14.
Okay.
So again, we definitely want to restore. Okay, so he shrieks a gurgling death cry when we strike our killing blow.
Yes.
You sheath your bloodied weapon. Do I really? I don't know that I do. I like to have it handy.
I would have wiped it off first, but okay.
Yeah. Quickly, you reach down, slide open the secret panel, press the metal control switch. With a deafening crack, the crystal beacon explodes into life. Its multifaceted surface emits a beam of focused orange light that penetrates the gloomy skies to the southeast, all the way to the distant city of Holmgard. That's where we've got to get to. And a collective roar of anger rises up from the battle raging below. The enemy have failed to prevent the alarm from being activated. And there is a picture.
The beacon has been lit, and I probably need to stop at this point because I do have to go, Lance, but perfect
Okay.
timing. We managed to light the beacon.
The beacon of Aberdeen is lit.
That's right.
Is that what it's called? What time is it? So I might carry on for about another half hour.
Okay. Okay.
But you've got to shoot off. That is a good place.
Yeah,
If you've got to go. I mean, let me just tell you what else happens.
yes.
And actually, there's a choice coming up, so you can tell me what to do, and then
If it's search, the answer is yes.
collective roar. So the cries elate you, but the completion of your task brings with it a renewed danger. The encircling Kran are now drawing together in preparation to attack you and exact their revenge. You must leave the roof and tower quickly if you're to avoid their imminent assault. So basically, you've got 2 choices. Oh, and you've already said what it is. Leave the trap door. That's the way you came, basically. Or do you want to stop and search the body of the dead guy?
Let's stop and search the body of the dead, Lance.
Yeah, all right. Search him quickly. It better not be your delayed action has caused your death. Okay. Funnily enough, he's got a couple of interesting things. He's got enough food for 1 meal, a sword and a dagger, which we don't need. He's got another lamp spur, which is the thing that gives you 4 healing. So I'll take that. There's enough for 1 dose. Mindful of the Krang gathering overhead, you then steam through the trapdoor. Okay, so it was good to do that because it didn't cost us anything, and then it's basically sent us on to the next number. So which is 503. So I'm going to remember that 503. So we gained a meal. So we've got 2 now, and because every time you stop and eat a meal, you get 2 endurance points back as well. And it tells you when you can do that. So I would actually say drink the Lampsper thing now, which puts it back up to 18, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of time to just stop and use healing powers right now. There's a lot of running around. And that's only 4 away from the original. Okay, and 503 is the next number. So I might play that a little bit longer, and then the people that are watching can help me make the choices, because I want to maybe run this till 10 o'clock. So yeah, okay, great. So look, oh, this is a massive section. Thanks very much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun, Lance. I can't wait for the next one.
It's pretty good, actually. Well, I don't know how much far. I'm only going to play it for until 10 o'clock, so I don't know. I don't think I'll get that much further. But what you can do is you can watch the end of the stream to see what happened. Hopefully, I'll manage not to kill us, and then maybe we can pick it up in 2 Sundays' time if you're around. That would be a lot of fun. I'm also going to be doing a stream about Banshee. Have you seen that?
The Banshees of Inisherin?
No. The television series Banshee.
Oh, no, I haven't seen
with
that.
the guy from The Boys. Now, you see, I'm surprised because I know that you like your your action men, your men who do manly things even.
Yes.
It's definitely one of those shows. It stars Anthony Starr in the lead. It's 4 seasons. There's I think there's about around 40 episodes altogether, and it's about a man who is on the run, ends up getting mistaken for the sheriff, arriving at the new town, and sort of assumes his identity. And I'll let you find out the rest for yourself. It is a fantastic show. The pilot is a little bit slow. Just get to the end of the pilot and you'll definitely will watch the second one. And then if you like the second one, you're going to watch the whole thing.
Well, then I definitely need to check it out, Lance. And thank you for telling me about it. I look forward to watching it. And thank you for having me on today.
Yeah, no problem, and always happy to come over and on your stream. And for those people watching, if you're not familiar with Positive Fandom, that is RM's channel. I've already put the deets. It's in there below. She does a stream every Sunday where she talks about the latest kind of pop culture programs, Star Wars, Marvel, all of those fun shows that people love to debate about with my good friend Russ. And when Russ is not available, sometimes I'm there. So maybe all 3 of us will do one at some point.
Yes, maybe. It sounds like something we definitely should try out, Lance.
We should. All right, I'm going to take you out and let you go. Thanks very much for joining me on my adventure quest. I'm going to do a little bit longer and then I'll wrap it up and speak to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
All right, so those 4 people that are still with me, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to keep going for a little bit. And if you want to help me with the choices, then chuck something in the chat. And I know that this is about 20 seconds behind, something like that. So I will give it a bit of time. Okay, so we're in the tower. We've just searched the body. We've gone down the ladder. When suddenly you sense that something has changed since you were last in the Grand Master's chamber. No shit. You feel a draft. We'll just put Desert Phoenix's comment back up there. 20 books, good on you, sir. You feel a draft of cold air coming from the direction of the south wall, and you can detect the faint battle odor of smoke. Okay, you move along the gallery, look down to see that one of the south-facing windows is now open. Perched on the ledge is a black hawk. That sounds pretty ominous. I'm not sure that I want to pick up a black hawk. Your gaze is drawn to the hawk's eye. This is definitely sounding dodgy. It's glimmering like a pool of fathomless black water. The eye blinks and a swirl of images begin to invade your mind. My God, it's the eye of Sauron. The eye blinks. Yep, okay, got that bit. You see glimpses of the deadly battle raging in the training park below. The devastation is shocking to behold, and only a few of your master and Kai comrades remain alive. The images swirl once more, making you feel dizzy and lightheaded, and you are forced to grip the railing to prevent yourself from falling. Once more, swirling shapes come back into focus. Your now mind is filled with the sights and sounds of battle raging on the ground. Your pulse races. You gasp for breath. You suddenly realize what these images are. They are a view of the battle as seen through the eyes of your Grand Master. Okay, so this guy is like giving you a view of what's happening. Brave Blade is now surrounded by a closing circle of Drakirim and Gaiacs several ranks deep. You see his sword in slow motion, striking at the advancing enemy with devastating effect, killing several with each blow. But you sense also he is greatly outnumbered, and his strength is finally warning in the face of such impossible odds. Go to the vault. Go to the vault, Silent Wolf. In other words, run, Luke, run, I think is what he's trying to say to me. Brave words like a soft whisper in your ear. Escape from here, all is lost, save yourself. Reach Homeguard and tell the king, Ulnar, may the Kai and Isha preserve you. These images fade and your head begins to clear, as if you are awakening from a nightmare. The Black Hawk screeches loudly. It leaves perched on the narrow window ledge and then flies away towards the southeast on a bearing running parallel to the crystal beacon. You then hear the sound of a triumphant enemy cheer rising up from the training park. Yeah, I think this is when they've killed. This is the Grand Master is fighting, and I think that's a head getting severed there. Okay, so I'm about to come up to a choice here, guys. So those people that are tuned in, you might want to help me with this. Okay, your heart sinks when you realise brave Blade and his courageous few who fought by his side have come to their bitter end. Okay, so I rushed to the open window, looked down. The grounds of the monastery are littered with bodies of dead and dying. Cheering fades. From the centre of the training park, a hooded figure unleashes from its outstretched palm a ball of scarlet fire up towards your window. There's a sudden flash, a wave of scorched air flings you backward to the floor. Pick a random number. Okay, well, I've got to roll the dice again. So let's roll the dice. See what's going to happen. Get my dice app up. Here we go. All right, so I'm picking a random number from 1 to 10, and that number is 9. I have a feeling this is bad. Turn to page 64. Okay, turning to page 64. What's happening? You manage to throw your hands up in front of you just moments before the fiery missile explodes. I have a feeling this is a good thing. You save your face from being hit by the blast, but you lose 1 endurance point. The books and manuscripts on the shelves burst into flames. You pull yourself to your feet and make to the nearest staircase. Turn to 453. So I've got to lose an endurance point, and I'm now down to. I need to heal again. Oh yeah, I drunk that thing, didn't I? So I'm back down to 17. Okay, so it's not too bad. Not too bad. A rubber here somewhere. Or an eraser, to use the American term. All right, so 453. I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon. 453. Let's have a look. 453. Trembling with shock. I'm really not surprised that I'm trembling with shock. Let's get rid of the dice applicator. Trembling with shock. Run headlong down the stairs. Make your way to the grand hall of Kai on the ground floor. Formidable door is being pounded. Mindful of the message of Grandmaster Brave Blade, you approach the small door located beneath the wide stone staircase. You're sure this is the way down to the vault. Once you oh yeah, this door is locked. If you possess a Kai gold key, turn to 104. If you do not possess this item, now you see, we had lots of opportunities to search rooms earlier, but we did not search rooms. Always search rooms. You should always search. So I'm going to 401. This might be my adventure ends here. No, it's not. Thank God. Okay. You notice that there is a keyhole located just below the door. You kneel and peer through its small aperture. Nothing but darkness beyond. Complex 3-levered deadlock mechanism has been installed. The lock and plate, it's like being on Jack Canori, isn't it? The lock and plate hinges are also reinforced. Furthermore, you detect that this lock has only partially been secured. Okay. This type of lock requires 3 turns of the key to activate and deactivate the mechanism. If you possess the Kai discipline of mind over matter, you may use it. Well, I do. So if you possess a dagger, now I got rid of that. Did I get rid of it? No, I've got the dagger. So I have got the dagger. Well, let's try mind over matter first, I think. 489. Get out of this castle. When we get out of the castle, that'll be the end of part 1. You focus your Kai skill on the keyhole and use it to will the locking bolt to retract. After several difficult minutes, you manage to do it, but you lose 1 endurance point due to the mental energy required. Oh, damn, that was pretty hard. Okay, so I've lost 1, lost another 1. So that's down to. And again, I'm not resting at the moment, so I can't do any healing. Now I've lost my chart. Oh, there we go. 60. I'm down to 16. Okay, down to 16. All right. Okay, so right, the great door hall is beginning to collapse beneath the repeated blows. You twist the handle and step through the door onto the narrow granite landing beyond. The small stone staircase to your left drops away into the darkness. Pausing for a moment to close the door, you secure it, and you descend into the vault below. Go to 381. Okay, so I'm into the vault now. 15 minutes to go. Let's see if we can get out of the castle in 15 minutes. 381. This looks like a big Good God, this is a lot of dialogue. Okay, so I go down the staircase. It's dark. Heavy door, banded with strips of gold. You make your way closer, reach out, push open a grand portal. It swings open, revealing a chamber. Forgive me for skipping because my throat's getting a bit tired. This is the Vault of the Sun, the deepest chamber in the monastery. Okay, Grandmaster Brave Blade's personal sanctuary. All right, it's going to be a few items in here then. Grey granite walls of the Vault of the Sun are richly embellished with gemstones, golden runes, kind signature, elaborate carvings. Upon the walls hang collections of the finest art you've ever seen. You look upon these pictures with wonderment and awe. Okay, depicting many glorious moments of the Order's proud history. Scenes of the Kai battle victories hang side by side. Depiction of events that have great religious significance. The rare and legendary occasions when the noble god Kai has manifested himself to the Order and bestowed upon it his divine sapience. Okay, I might need to look that word up. Your skin tingles at the sight of these holy paintings. You feel strength and energy renewed, and you restore up to 5 endurance points due to the healing power of the artworks. Well, that's never happened to me when I've gone to the National Gallery. So 5, I think, is going to... 5 puts me back up to 21. So I'm only 1 away from my original strength. That's good. Then also, lying on the grand table, you find some lampspur. Okay, well, I'm going to take that. When you drink that cures 4 points. I don't need that now, but I'm going to have it. So that's very handy. So I've got some lampspur. Okay, that's in there. Special item times 1. One of those. What else have we got? A leather potion of strength increases your combat by 2 for 1 fight only if swallowed before the fight. Okay, so that's an Aletha potion +2 in combat potion +2 combat. Okay, +2. All right, very good. There's a dagger, a broadsword, etc. I've already got a broadsword. These weapons are beautifully made. Each weapon will add +1 to your combat skill when used in combat. Okay, so this is actually a broadsword that's better than the broadsword that I have because it's a +1 broadsword. So I will discard my other broadsword and I will take the +1 broadsword. That sounds pretty good to me. That gives me a pretty good combat level now. Make a note of this. I have done. Thank you very much. Okay. Lots more text. Okay, so set into the east wall of the vault is a grey granite door veined with gold. Instinct alone makes you reach out and pull a lever protruding from a wall nearby. Immediately the door swings open and reveals a tunnel. I think this could be our route of escape. Judging by its length, depth, and direction, you're confident the passageway passes beneath the monastery's curtain wall and emerges somewhere in the forest beyond. With a heavy heart, you turn and take one last look of the sacred vault of your fallen leader. Yeah, and then there's lots of text about me feeling upset and being alone. I am indeed the last of the Kai. You are now the lone wolf. Dun dun dun. Blinking away the tears, you turn and leave the vault. And you arrive at a second stone door. You press another lever. Okay, dawn is now broken up. The sunlight's ahead. You leave the tunnel. Back into position. You look around. Make a careful mental note of this location, for the secret entrance is perfectly camouflaged and very hard to detect. You know you must haste. It's not safe to linger so close to the burning monastery. Kran and Zomblies are circling overhead. You can sense the Gaik patrols searching nearby. You resolve to set out for Homeguard. King Ulna, alerted by the beacon, will be mustering the army in readiness to halt the enemy's invasion. But he's unaware that the whole elite of the Kai, save yourself, have been slaughtered. Without the Kai to lead the regiments of the summer-lending army, your country is now at the mercy of its ancient enemies. Silently, you bid a final farewell to your fallen king and kin and renew your vow that their deaths will be avenged. Then you leave the tunnel entrance and follow a narrow track into the forest. After a few hundred yards, the track splits in 2. Okay, so that is a good place to stop. I have escaped from the castle. Just going to make a note of that at the top. Escape from castle. And I guess that's the end of part 1 of Flight from the Dark by the late Joe Deaver, revised and put back into publication with the assistance of August Hahn and Ben Deaver, Joe's son. I really enjoyed playing that live online, but I enjoyed playing it more because I did it with my good friend. Hopefully I'll get her back, or other people. If other people would like to jump on a playthrough of one of these, let me know. Drop me a comment. You can also find me on Facebook under Lance Steen Anthony Nilsson. I'm the only one. And because I'm going to do playthroughs of all of these books right through till the end of the books that I've never seen before. So thank you very much for tuning in today. There were some people that were here for the whole thing. That's very kind. Do like and subscribe, share the channel. We mainly do film and theatre industry related stuff, but I like to do anything creative, anything that's creative. And if you have a creative project that you might want to plug or that we could interview you about, if it's something that looks interesting and it's at a reasonable state of readiness, I'm always interested to talk to people. But until the next time when we do part 2, thanks very much for those people who tuned in and accompanied us on the quest today. And I'll see you again for part 2. Probably going to do that in 2 weeks' time. Might do it sooner, but probably in 2 weeks' time. And don't forget, always tell the people that you care about that you love them.